Listen, so we've been doing good. And shout out to everyone who supported the podcast thus far. Last week, we had presumably what was our biggest episode yet. Just the full-blown episode alone has upwards, I think, of 500 to 600 downloads. I understand that wasn't really in the stratosphere of the Joe Rogan numbers we were predicting the episode to do. But at the end of the day, our average episode gets a lot less than that. Plus, on top of the actual episode downloads, the streams from the episode, the clips, the YouTube, the Instagrams. I mean, the Instagram reels were popping, bro. We're talking what, 5,000 views for each one. So all in all, I think the calculation for the Joe Exotic episode, we're upwards of like 50,000 eyeballs. So shout out to you guys for sharing it. Shout out to Joe for calling in. Shout out to Joe for the episode. Shout out to Joe Exotic for being a real one. I am not even kidding you. I already have plans for 2 more episodes this year alone with Mr. Joe. And so he's basically my friend now. He instantly agreed. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have Joe Exotic instantly agree to officiate your wedding, it's game over for everybody else.
What are we doing?
Okay, all of these other podcasts that you might be seeing now, George Santos, and all of these other podcasts that have Joe Exotic as a guest. Hey, listen. Yeah, cool, fine, whatever. You did it. You asked some very interesting questions. But at the end of the day, did Joe Exotic agree to officiate your wedding? Did Joe Exotic agree to become your best friend, George Santos? I don't think so. Okay, so when it comes down to the What Are We Doing podcast versus the George Santos podcast, and with our new best friend, Tiger King Joe Exotic in the middle, I think we know which way the king is leaning, okay? He didn't agree to come hang out with George Santos during his podcast, but he agreed to fly to another country to stand on the beach with me and my family and friends and officiate our wedding. So the Joe Rogan, I'm sorry, not the Joe Rogan. We need to get Joe Exotic on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan needs to stop having Elon Musk on like he just got done doing today and call Joe Exotic instead. You know what I mean? So shout out to Joe Exotic. We had an incredible time. We're going to have him on a few more times. Might be like for my birthday. We'll see what his current status is in July. We need to get Joe Exotic pardoned via President Trump before, let's just say before June. If we can get that pardon signed before June of 2025 this year, we've got like 3 or 4 months. We've got 4 months to convince Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, to sign the paperwork he needs to pardon Joe Exotic. Let's look at the negatives. If Donald Trump, let's make a pro and cons list, okay? If Donald Trump pardons Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, cons are what? I'll wait. What's going to happen? You what? You think Joe Exotic's just gonna a relapse and what give someone else $3,000 to allegedly do something to someone else, aka Miss Baskin? Doubt it. So what are the cons? If we sign the pardon for Joe Exotic, and keep in mind, folks, it's not a situation where it's like, yeah, he's like a celebrity. It's a Netflix thing. Like, why would the president? The president, I'm pretty sure, signed pardons for like Kodak Black, Lil Wayne. Joe Biden signed it for his sons, his family, Fauci, that criminal within the government.
What are we doing?
Like, there's plenty of reasons and plenty of people who didn't deserve pardons, aka probably some, if not most, of the violent criminals that were within the realms of acting on the Jan 6 riot of the United States Capitol building. But at the end of the day, the cons list for releasing Joe Exotic from federal prison are pretty much, I think, 0. Now, the pros list. Let's get to the pros of the pros and cons list of releasing Joe Exotic. Donald Trump signed the pardon now. A, Joe Exotic officiates my wedding. B, Joe Exotic moves to Mexico with his new husband. C, Joe Exotic goes on a Joe Exotic Tiger King Eras type tour alongside his husband, other singers. Hey, Post Malone will probably be there. Let's just keep that in mind. You're telling me right now, if Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, does not get pardoned by President Trump and out of jail, and then immediately goes on a country singing country music tour with his now new Spanish-speaking Mexican husband, George, hello, who do you think's going to show up? Who do you think is going to be there? The number 2 people in country music right now. And if we're talking 3, we've got Post Malone, Jelly Roll, and I don't know, maybe Morgan Wallen.
What are we doing?
If Joe Exotic right now were to be released from prison, start his own Eras tour, and announce that he's got special guest appearances maybe in 1 or 2 cities with any of those people, and you know they'd show up. You know Post Malone and Jelly Roll are 2 very prominent country artists that will do anything to gain the power of social media into a positive presence that will most likely go viral. I guarantee you right now, get Joe Exotic out of prison so he can do 2 things. 1, officiate my wedding. That's the most important thing. Okay, it's not about him testifying in front of Congress. That's important too. It's not about getting revenge on Carol Baskin. That's also very important. And it's not about the Tigers. Those are also very important, but they're unfortunately lower on the list than Joe Exotic standing on the beach in Tulum, Mexico with me, my best friend, my family, my son, a couple of my closest friends who could make it, and bada bing, bada boom, Joe Exotic looks me in the eyes and says, "You may now kiss your bride." That's what's important.
What are we doing?
So, what's up, Trump? Where are we at with the pardon? So, it was a great experience, guys, and listen, this podcast has taken me so many places. Look, are my high-profile guests on this podcast around this time of the year every year simply reality TV show stars that don't have their shows on anymore and are kind of done with the media circuit, aka Ken Cage, Joe Exotic, Tiger King? Yes. But at the end of the day, they have the stories, they have the intelligence, they have the where-all and be-all to sit here and tell me everything I need to know about them and the shows and how fun it was to repo airplanes and save the Tigers and fuck Carol Baskin, dude.
What are we doing?
Not physically, just like, F you kind of situation. So, shout out to Joe Exotic. I hope you get out soon.